What is that's the limitation? We're in a limited world. If you don't have limitation, it's a big problem. But today we're speaking of what happened? Who needs this hakbole?
When these people read Psukim in the Torah,
no.
It says Asur ben Migdash v'shachanti b'saychim. What do they think Hashem means? That he's just joking about it?
What?
He really wants to be shochem in the Mikdash. So why is it so hard for him to understand that Hashem wants to create a world like this that has limitations?
Of course he created this world. He wants to dwell in it. But what does that mean? Why are you saying it's nothing to do with Hashem? What are you talking about? Hashem wants to dwell here. How could Hashem dwell here? He's not even shaykh to here. Adra, because he's ein immovable b'shum gather, he could come here. He can't come here.
So then the question is, how you said you had a question. How could you say that Hashem has a koach gvul? What do you mean?
How? What pshat koach gvul? In hakbole. What's the mile of hakbole?
If someone who's infinite, he cannot have hakbole.
Why should he have hakbole?
Because he's infinite.
What pshat infinite?
It's like saying, can Hashem create a stone that he cannot?
Actually, those people are being magbul the Eivishim gvul.
Right. Oh. But the word is
so they got a problem. They have a real problem. The Avedis HaKadosh went far beyond.
True.
That's something true.
But the thing is,
what do you mean?
No,
what to smell something?
Shaila, what are you answering?
No, I'm saying like.
What are you answering?
You said there was a whole tumult about how could you say koach gvul?
Yeah.
There has to be a koach of gvul or a tchuna of gvul or something like that.
We understand that. They didn't.
First of all, there's a double thing over here. We're in a limited world. So we're saying if you're not going to have limitation, there's no way this world came about.
Limited world created by an unlimited thing. Unlimited.
So what's
something? We didn't come out of nothing.
True, but on our world, how do we have limited effects? How do we make something limited?
We are
because we have a keich. We only have limitation, right? Why are we? Everything we do is limited because our energy is limited. That's the way we make limits. So he said, if he wants to say this on the Eibishter, can't say this on the Eibishter. The Eibishter, the reason why he's making gvul is not because he himself is limited. Because he's not limited, not defined, therefore he makes limit. Don't have to put on him the label that he has limited powers, therefore he makes limits. If they read the Avedis HaKadosh, not that they said he didn't create the world, this limited world, that no one thought that, right? The question was, how do you answer this question, so to speak? You see a world, how did it come? So they said you don't have to put, so to speak, imagine, before the Avedis HaKadosh said anything. He said nothing. How did everyone know? Eibush saying sof. Haipol mavai dovor. Kill Yochel.
So if it's Kil Yochel,
what should kill Yochel? He's tachas ablikvul. Mit tamol. The Avedis HaKadosh says no. Has the chaim. So shlemus the kula. It's so complete. Kshem sheish leker bebilti bagvul kach shleker begvul. So the first people heard it. They were very upset. What do you have to put limitations in the Eibush there?
That's not clear limitations.
You're saying this now.
That's saying something that. You're saying.
I don't know why we're arguing over it. This is no. I'm trying to say.
You're right. There's no. I'm just trying to understand
what they thought.
How could they like?
Yeah.
How could you take away Hashem's koach gvul? He's unlimited. Of course, you should have koach in gvul.
After we learned all this in Chassidus, it's very passionate, but they were trying to figure it all out to be
gvul, so there's something he doesn't have.
No. I'll tell you a better thing.
Not that he didn't have the ability to create it. But it wasn't him. He could create everything, yeah, for sure.
It's not like that he's being mugdal. How can you say that Eibush is mugdal?
He's sort of being magbul himself in a way. And that's very hard to... Yeah, like you said, Simpson Kipshutim, with all these things. It's all one... it's all one big challenge. Same...
I guess we can go around in circles.
No, I'll say it in a short. I think this captures it. When we say Shem sheish leker babuter kach leker begvul, the way we understand it, what does it mean? Why is it a shleimus? Why is it that we say the shleimus of bli gvul? the shleimus of bli gvul is that he has a power for gvul. Why is that the shleimus of bli gvul that he has a power of gvul? What's the understanding? You're saying it makes very much sense. I'll argue and say that in the contrary.
It's like asking, is there anything that Hashem cannot do? And then you're going to say, yes. He cannot have koyach gvul.
Let me ask a question. Let me ask another question.
Possible to say that.
Let me ask another question.
Can the Eivishter pick up, create a rock that he can't pick up?
So that question you can't ask about Hashem, because
Why?
Yes, he can create the rock, and yes, he can lift it. You can't ask that question by Hashem. The very question is contradictory to Hashem's essence. Can Hashem create a stone that he can't lift? Your question just limited Hashem.
It's true. The same.
If he's a Kol Yachol, so he should be able to do everything.
No, because if he can create a stone that he can't lift it, then you're validating the fact that he can't lift it.
He's saying if he could do it, the ability to do anything doesn't mean he's able not to be able to do. Kol Yachol is still.
To say that Kol Yachol doesn't mean that he can make that he can. If he's Kol Yachol, he can make himself mukbal.
No, if he created the thing, that means he's the balabas over the thing he created. So then, how can you go say that the created thing is now balabas over him? That he now can't lift it up or whatever it is.
Whatever. I don't know at what point this comes in, but no one can say that Hashem doesn't have koach gvul. In order to demonstrate something, okay, then you're going to say, oh, it's not him, that's just the or that expresses, and then there's atzmos, which is completely forget about that, Why were they so surprised? I mean, Hashem created the world in 6 days. Why create the world in 6 days? Ask those questions. Why grass? Why all? This is all create. Why all these? Why how could you?
Correct.
What do you mean? You're a poor person who's mukbal. How could you say you don't come from something that?
That's what.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, come on. Yes. The or in Soif, I don't know, the or whatever you want to say. At the Tzimtzum, there's a koyach hagbala that came in there somewhere.
What's pshat koyach hagbala?
It's a way of Hashem expressing himself in the way that he can create limited things, or he can be part of the limited things. We're saying he is the makom, so he's not the makom. Oh, that's not really him. So then who is this that is enlivening this very conversation right now? Every second that it goes on, it's not Hashem. Havayahu Elokim. So it's not him. Are we just saying that?
That's our sheet.
Are we not saying that? So why come and say that he doesn't have koach gvul? You're limiting him. You're saying he cannot limit himself.
Again, we're back to the Tzimtzum Kipshut thing.
Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to.
No. It's fine. It's very good. I want to bring out. You bring out very valid points. But Hoguf, when we say the Eibishter has a powerful limitation, what's limitation? Is limitation a negative thing or a positive thing?
Negative thing, positive thing.
Ask a simple question in general.
It's a thing. Why does that have to be negative or positive? It's just a thing.
It's a bad thing if you
in other words,
can't do something. So it's a negative.
If you could have chochmah bli gvul.
If you have limited money in your bank account, you can't pay your phone bill and your electric bill and your telephone bill, then
is there advantage?
It's a negative, right?
Is there advantage to have $1 million over unlimited amount of money? What's the advantage? You not only have unlimited amount of money, you also have $1. It's the game. Imagine someone has unlimited amount of wisdom.
I don't know if these examples are good.
Why?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
I think he's getting mixed up with the koyach gvul or himself being mukbal. Koyach gvul means Hashem created the world with gvul. Okay, but to say that he himself is mukbal,
how could you get some gvul if you don't have it?
I'll tell you how.
That's what they had to help.
I'll tell you. So they translated that it literally means that he has limited powers.
Yeah, he himself.
And therefore they were very against it. But really, he never meant to say that. He meant to say Keshem sheyesh leikech bebilti balgul, just like the infinity of Hashem has an infinite power for unlimited things, kach yesh lei, so too he himself has an infinite power to make limitations. It's not a finite power. There's no finite in Hashem. He's infinite. He can make infinite limitations. Ein Sof Gvul. Gvul is not an expression of the Eibishter's limitation. It's an expression of the Eibishter's infinity. He's Ein Sof Gvul. And you could put Ein Sof in every limitation. And he could be milding the whole Ein Sof and Lifnei Tzimtzum inside the Keich HaGul, because the Keich HaGul is an infinite power. In other words, to translate this to Avedis HaKedesh would be a big problem, that he himself is limited. Therefore, the Avedis HaKedesh never meant that, to say that the Eibishter is limited. But could he not put his whole essence in a mitzvah in every detail? Of course he did. That's what the whole Vasul makes Shulchan B'Seichem, like you mentioned. He put his whole existence in the Mikdash. Not that the Eibishter put part of himself in the Mikdash. The Lashon Chassidus used to say, he squeezed his whole essence in Ben Shnei Bad Yoren. And that, to say that he can't do, that's limiting the Eibishter. To say that he has, and that's what's going to be Dirav Tachtein, it's going to be Nizgala, every Nekud is an expression of the Ein Sof of the Eibishter. Not that, Chas v'Shalom, that's Havayu Holikim, which you realize, Be'etzim Gvul is a equal Keach to Havaya. It's also his Keach, because he's Bli Gvul, therefore he has the Keach. Not that it's Chas v'Shalom to be a Keach Mugel. But Sfiris of Atzilus is an outcome of the Eibishter's Keach Ein Sof. But the pay, what do we see over here? It's Shiurim. It doesn't reveal how it's really outcome. If we would see in the world that really it's an expression of Ein Sof, then it wouldn't be Gvul. The Gvul Guf would be Bli Gvul. Al derech Sfiris Ein Ketz. In every Sfira, you realize that really it's an expression of the Ein Ketz of the Eibishter, Ein Sof of the Eibishter. So what do you see at the end of the day? You see Ein Sof. You don't see Agbola. If we were to be created, or rather, like it says in Lashon, right as the Eibishter wanted, right away things come to existence, then what would be our existence? Would be the level of the Eibishter's will. We will be an expression of the Eibishter's Ein Sof. He is Ein Sof power to make limitations, and that's where we're around. Then we wouldn't be who we are. In order we should be, he had to hide himself, and that's Guf's Keiche. That's Guf's Keiche Ein Sof. And that's what the Avedis HaKedesh was saying, that the Eibishter is equally infinite in both, and if he's only infinite in one, you're limiting the Eibishter. To say that that it's not an inyan in him, that's already limiting the Eibishter. That he has to only be revealed, that he can't hide himself, that's a limitation. It's good for this, and other ways to okay, leave it at the Raila. But you see the difference? It's not.
Yeah.
That's what they had a problem with. Fine. Al Kuponim. So yeah. There's a lot more details. There's more opinions and everything. Fine. We'll just try to. Okay. May Cain. What time is it? Already 10 o'clock. About. Okay. May Cain. B'chinas hakelim, she'ena lekus mamish, she'netzel b'chinas atzmus ein sof, b'chinas hakeach hagvul shabei. Just like the spark is a part of the flame, it's not something, even though the pale. I could focus and see the spark, and I don't see where it's coming from, and I can't read to the light of it. It doesn't tell me anything, it doesn't reveal me anything, but really it is part and parcel of the flame itself. So too, the kelim is from Keich HaGvul. And the way it comes to us is in a way that it doesn't express who he's coming from. But like the Moshe and Chassidus brings from a son and a child, a father, that the son is the father, but it comes in a separate entity. He's not. You don't see the father. You see the son. Even though Kol Kuli, everything he has the father, but he's nifrit me'av. Same thing over here. Al derech. Fine. Rings from the Rikanti, we mentioned before, Be'in Asesfilis, the Me'eri HaGodol is Neitzitzu HaKelim. They, so to speak, they sparked the Inyan Neitzitzu, so She'ein Ze K'mei Atzilus Mamish. It's not, you see the connection to the source. Shaldera Vayetzel Min HaRuach. Shi'orak Shura Bim Kedek Shal Heves HaShura B'Gacheles. Vayetzel Min HaRuach is you see the connection. Mashenkin in Eisen. Vayetzel.
Vayotzel, it's a comment.
It's a comment, Vayotzel, fine. Yeah, okay, fine. That it's expressing himself. That he's separate, you don't see the source. It's like it sparks off, it becomes a separate entity. The idea of a spark is ke'inyan, like the concept we mentioned before. He's going back to the dogma that he said before. When they hit each other, so to speak, a spark comes out, which means the spark it's not the way they are. It's on a lower level. It becomes more megushim, like the fire. Even though the flintstone has the keich hachamimos, and there it's much more powerful than the fire the way it comes out. Over there it's the keich haish, and therefore that fire can never distinguish. Is the keich for the whole fire. But when something knocks it, that's when Rish comes out as a separate entity, as a mitzvah, which you could see, which in a way is a much lower level of fire.
You can see that it's not. You can see that it's separated.
It separates, and also that it became a lower level. It's also what we've said before. It's nefila, the seichel that it comes down is beinarech to the way it is before. The way it's before in the air. We're not going to go into the whole thing again. Fine. So although on one hand we're saying that the elokus,
This is still regarding the kalim.
yeah. Let's just see after the brackets. This is the next page. Yudzayin, the fifth line from the top. Mikoma came harim gamkim b'bchinas yesh me'ayin. But on the other hand, they're also yesh me'ayin. It's on the top and see Yudzayin, the fifth line. The brackets, the very long brackets.
It's the brackets.
Fifth line. The brackets finishes in the fifth line. The fifth line at the top. It's a few brackets in the end.
Vayin Mashakasov.
No, not Vayin Mashkasov. It's in the next line.
That's still the brackets that?
Yeah. It's a big brackets.
Big brackets with brackets within the brackets.
It's a few brackets inside.
Fine. After all the brackets, alright?
Right. And the big. Although it's a lakus, but it's also yesh me'ayin. Why? The limitation and how do they come to be? He doesn't express himself, and this we could say this is even more distant than Atzilus. Atzilus is true to say about Atzilus Lagabe Ein Sof, even though it's also the cause. It's the Eibishter's Keach, but since Lapel it's a limited Keach, the Eibish expressing over here himself in a limited way, and it's Shalei Berech to Pshita Ein Sof, therefore it's considered Yesh Me'ayin. And it's even further than our way of existence Lagabe Atzilus. In other words, Gvul, Lagabe a higher Gvul, our experience of Seichel and Nushi, which we think in a limited way, the fact that we have our process of thinking stems from the ultimate way of thinking. Even though it's the way Lakus thinks it's Shalei Ber, but it's connected, it's the same makeup. Masha'en King Gvul, Lagabe Bli Gvul, is a different way of thinking. It's not it. It's not its extension the way it is. He didn't reveal himself. He hid himself. He's not revealed over here. And that's why, even though it's him not revealing himself, we said the Mashal of the Tzaddik Nistar, he's a Tzaddik in the Nistar, in the carpentry, in the whatever they did over there a whole day, they were connected with the Eibishter. But it's not Megalig Van Elokos. And Beyachas, the dead Vekas, and Teirat Tefillah, it's a Ein of Helen. It's not revelation. And that's what it's Ein Arech. It proved to the fact that it's Yesim Mishen Rechasil Lagab Atzilus. He says the Harei Hakelim Atzilus nice and around Lebia. Kelim Atzilus become part of Bia. That's the Chayis of Bia. They're in Bia. They're the life of Bia. They're the creators of Bia. They relate to Bia. They're Mokil Bia. They're Givam Nismokil Mitzias. It's not that they withhold themselves. That's how it came about. They're the whole source of our way of being. B'chol Mashris. This is in around the Bia. It itself is here. Then there's even things that came to be created in Bia. The kol mashnis have be bia kelum b'chinas hakelum datzilus. It's all thanks to kelum datzilus. They have the kech to create. Which means the iyu hu l'mayla meged nivroim. Iyu is the ain't of the pshitz of the Eibishter would not be able, so to speak, not be able to. In Mitzvah Avona, the way the Eibishter wanted things should work. Iyu means the gili of the pshittas of the Ein Sof, and from that would never come idea of otherness of the Eibishter. Or b'chinas garmei, humash b'chinas shaychas l'nevroim. Garmei, that's the power of the Eibishter that connects to Nevroim. That's a source for otherness. So it's even, in other words, even when we say the Ayin Mahavas Hayesh and the Eifin HaMetziz, the way we live is Shalei Be'erach to the way it's Natzilas, but the Moshel given, it's like saying, Ili Yitzuyah, from our thoughts, things would happen. We would think about a nail going into the wall, and it would actually go into the wall. So we would say, wow, how did this happen, right? It's our flaw. But in the same hand, imagine if you're not thinking about the nail and still the nail would go. What would be a greater flaw? In other words, to make from gold silver, or to make from nothing gold, what's a bigger pella? Same way, whatever. It's not ultimate mishalim from Chassidus, but the idea is there. Kalim is relating to Nivraim. True, it's the way Elokus thinks about Nivraim. It's not, but it's already relating. That's what it says in Chassidus. Take the Mamar from Shavuos. It says. It's also the answer why it says why doesn't it say Shabaros Shemaim Varetz? Shabaros Shemaim Varetz is a greater pella. It's creation from nothing. So explain Chassidus, some Amorim at least, that the idea of creating from nothing in the end of the day is not such a pella. What's not such a pella? Because you're relating to the world. The Ayin HaMahavas HaYesh relates to the world. In Yoni is Milas that he could create a Yesh. Masha'enki, it's his time when the Eibush took us out of all limitations. The Eibush revealed himself on his Anoicha Vaylekecho. The way the Eibush is, that's Shlei Berach, a higher revelation. And that's also the difference here. Garmei is a mocker to Nivraim, even though it's a Lakus, but it's soft, it's the way Lakus is Misyachas to Nivraim. So even though it's believable like Abiyaz, it's Ayin, it's Leidovor, and all that. Masha'enki, we're saying, Pshittis is the Taich of the Chalma Misyachas to together. Mishkos Mokam Acher, the B'chinas Iyu Shem Misyachas Dim Gameyu, B'chinas Bli Mispor, or B'chinas Gameyu, B'chinas Mispor. The two levels of Iyu and Gameyu. So it says Iyu is without any definition. You can't number him. Masha'enki Gameyu is Mispor. As you could say number, like it says Shiur Kemish Yetzer Bereishis is Ralu Alof Meravovis Parsois, even though it's in Yonim Elokos. But the fact that it's in Yonim Elokos, that he could define it, you could number it, so to speak, that itself means he relates to the number. He's a source for it. Evil Solveren, the mail is Begeder Mispor. Masha'enki Iyu is Big Vagam, or is B'chinas Yush, Adega Mei Mevursham, the other in the Mokamachas, where is Mitzayin, it's explained, the Yishleim is B'chinas Mispor. Shazawi and Shiur Kemish Yetzer Bereishis. That the Eibush, so to speak, relates to do it. Tzalderich will say, a person does an action, or he writes, or he moves something, so there's the Keach Atnu, which is unlimited. Then there's the Oris HaKeach, which comes to actually make it happen. That's still a Ruchni, but that's only Amshocha Protis. Then there's the action that comes. The action of the Keach, the Yad, and what is Melubish, how he makes it. So you can say the Yad, so to speak, is for sure Mugel. Even the Oris HaKeach that's doing the pull is also relating to the Hagbole. And that's a Makeach is Bli Mispor. Just a marshal to have it. We will need 100 Mishalim, just other Mishalim to define, figure out the EU and the Gamei and the Oris EU. Then is got a marshal. But if you want, there are different marshal. Even take a step earlier, you have the Askol. A person has Askol, he's Maskal Askolis, or he has a feeling of Chesed. Then he has what's behind the Chesed. The Nefesh that's beyond it. Which that's something that you relate to the chesed. Every person knows that if someone does chesed, it's not just the kindness that is there. There's something behind it. There's a nefesh behind it. So how much we'll know about the nefesh, it's not ultimately the way the person is beyond description, which doesn't, so to speak, tell itself, express itself by any action, anything he does, will never express it. In other words, when we work our way back, we'll never get to realize what's the mitzvah pshitis. We know about the nefeshes, there's a pshitis which is a mocker for keches, a pshitis which is a mocker for expression, but ultimately, okay, fine. Harei sheyesh lo meize erech. So there's some connection. Aval hakelim that says l'gabe ein sof, ein bein arich l'gamri. But the kelim l'gabe ein sof is bein arich l'gamri. It's b'chlal not a source. It's not that he's relating to it. He's ein sof. He's expression of himself the way he is. And then, because he's so Ein Sof, he could also make Kalim, but it's not that the Kalim are expressing him the way he is. It's by him, it's even him, but it's not him the way he is on his level. He's Ein Sof. Shame.